You go home from work one day and you're not with anyone. You're a girl and you're approached by a stranger and he rapes you. Often the consequences of this are extremely dire. You did absolutely nothing wrong, and yet oftentimes for the rest of your life, you're condemned to living in your room because as soon as you step out, you get hit with seizures because of the vast amount of fear that you feel. This is the kind of mental illness that arises when you let these tremendous, horrible memories get to you. Soldiers with PTSD are reduced from veterans with confidence and valor to people who are literally just twitching on the floor. And what does opposition respond to this? They say, that's good because you can have self-evaluation. It's good for rape victims to have mental illness because then they will learn to cover up. This is victim blaming, ladies and gentlemen. And this is something that we severely oppose, right? Okay, so 2 rebuttals for opposition side of the house. First of all, they talk about the necessity of remorse in creating a change of attitude, right? Now, first of all, we don't think that you necessarily need to have remorse in the beginning in order to change your perspective, right? We think that the whole purpose of the criminal justice system is that you punish people, you put them in jail, not in regards to whether or not they remember or not, but to the simple fact that being in jail is not fun, ladies and gentlemen. Therefore, we think that the fact that they're spending 5 to 10 years in jail, regardless of any forms of memories that may or may not exist, still creates a rational calculus, right, ladies and gentlemen? Even if you forget the past 5 years that you were in jail, you still factually know that, well, for 5 years ago I have absolutely no memories and someone told me that I went to jail. There is still a rational calculus present, and we still think that people can have this change of behavior. But let's talk about the kind of people that opposition wants to engage with, right? This is my second response. What kind of person that would actually want to remove their remorse in order to be able to commit the same crime again, for example, or do the same mistake again? We think that A, these people are going to be extremely minority cases. That is to say that you need to be a very special kind of person in order to want to forget certain feelings just so that you can do a certain crime again. But B, we think that these kind of people are going to do it anyways, right? That is to say that if they are so invested in the fact that they want to do a crime, that they would be willing to erase their memories, they're most likely going to do it anyway, right, ladies and gentlemen? But lastly, we take the trade-off. We would be glad to let these people maybe do some crimes again. We would be glad for a gambler to forget the feeling of losing $1 million and lose another $1 million. If it means that we get to protect the rape victims, if it means that we get to protect the most vulnerable people who have had their basic fundamental right to live compromised because they no longer have the ability to live life to the fullest. They basically no longer have their freedom of movement. There's a variety of fundamental rights that are removed for them, and we would gladly protect these most vulnerable actors, right? And then moving on to my second point of rebuttal, right? They try to engage in these kind of scenarios by talking about the lack of necessity for these kind of people, right? Now look how they say that counseling and psychiatrists already exist and can already fix the status quo. This is exactly my first speaker's argument, right? We exactly told you that this is enough. This is not enough. Fundamentally, empirically, factually, there is no cure for PTSD. And those people who have gotten these mental illness often have the rest of their lives condemned into living into a mental hospital, having the rest of their lives condemned to live with this mental illness, right, ladies and gentlemen? We don't think that the current mechanisms is enough. That's why we still have scientific endeavors to begin with, because we're trying to get better mechanisms. We think this proposal is the better mechanism, right? But even if it's not enough, right? If it is enough, right? They say, oh, it's just life, right, ladies and gentlemen? It's just life to get raped sometimes. It's just life to get abused. This is something that we fundamentally disagree with. Yes, it is life, but the question is, can we make that life better? On Team Government, we give the clear answer. Yes, we give you the ability to better your life. We give you the ability to improve in the end of the day, right? So what do we give to you? We give you that we allow these people to actually have their fundamental rights given back to them. We allow these people to have the most vulnerable actors to be protected. And we allow for the full fundamental right to live, right? So, but lastly, we'd like to bring you to the parameter of what is actually a life that's worth living, right? We think that the life it should only be worth living. A life that you should defend is that A, it's a life that you can actually control, and B, something that you can actually enjoy. Why do we think that this is something that's more exclusive to our side of the house? Because we told you that having fundamental control over your memories, having fundamental control over what you want and not want to remember, is this form of fundamental control. Because not all memories are things that you necessarily consent to. Therefore, only when we have this technology do we have the free control over human life. So that only happens outside our side of the house. And second, because we're protecting these rape victims, the majority of the case, these are the people that we are actually protecting, and we can only create free enjoyment there. So on their side of the house, what they have is a life, and maybe you get some change of behavior, maybe you get all these kind of things, but you don't get a life that is fundamentally worth living, right? Now, before I proceed, are there any points of information from the opposition? Are you sure? so now let's moving on to I prepared two scenarios for us to discuss, and this will be my point of extension, right? Let's discuss what the kinds of scenarios and who uses these kinds of technologies, right? We think that you're going to be either traumatized or you're going to be someone who isn't, right? Let's engage the both of these scenarios. First of all, for these people who are traumatized, right? We think that they do deserve to get treatment, right? We've told you that they're in status quo. There is no mechanism for these people to get better. There is no mechanism for these people to fundamentally start living their lives. On our side, we give it to this. But okay, let's take them at their best. Let's forget our fiat and let's take their argument saying that, oh, this technology is going to be fundamentally flawed and it's not going to work. We think that's perfectly fine. We think that even if it's not a 100% success rate, even if only 2 people get to have their lives better at the end of the day, even if there's a small number, we think that it still exists a possibility, and we think that people have the fundamental right to try and get better. That is to say that we should give everyone every sort of possible circumstance that they can to better their lives. This is why doctors can sometimes recommend treatments that aren't guaranteed to work. This is why people allow you to go to witch doctors, for example, the kind of people who don't necessarily have medical training, right? So we think that it's okay for these people to seek alternative treatments as long as it means that they have the right to try and seek betterment, because that is a possibility. The opposition needs to engage with the case where these rape victims have their entire lives compromised, right? But let's talk about the second case here, about people who are actually okay. This is going to be a point of extension that I'm going to bring, right? We think that these are people who are rational and may or may not have that much of a change may not have that much of a problem with their actual lives, right? But we think that these kind of people still deserve to have a betterment of their lives. For example, we think there are certain things that are tied into your memory that change the way you behave. For example, certain ways you were treated as a kid, certain ways you were raised as a child, changes the ability for you to actually act as a grown-up. This is why we see people, even though they tend to be left-leaning, even though they believe in the empowerment of black people, the simple fact that they came from a conservative family, the simple fact that their parents actually continually instilled racist beliefs to them or sexist beliefs, actually creates a subconscious mechanism in which they still have the tendency to create racist jokes. They still have the tendency to judge black people as inferior. These are the kind of things that happen exclusively because of memories that affect the way you operate on a subconscious level. On our side of the house, we also cater to these people. That is to say that we let these people forget their memories. We let these people forget that they had racist parents, and let these people forget the effects and forget the subconscious mechanisms that they use in order to be racist. What does this mean? This means that we give actual fundamental ability for even people who already have good lives. They can still make their lives better. They can still treat other people better. This engages to when they talk about saying that this is going to harm other people. We say that when you have the ability to forget things that make you treat people bad, when you have the ability to actually judge people for being a human being, when you can forget this memory, that is when you can treat people better, right? So what do we give you? A, we protect the absolute most vulnerable victim. B, we better the lives of everyone. And C, we provide their people with their fundamental lives. On their side, what do they give you? Victim blaming. We're proud to propose.